Today, we're talking store teardowns, your store teardowns. To be specific, I'm going to be going through your stores live to reveal some of the issues that have been holding your sales back, blocking your conversions, and making it harder for you to grow and scale the business that you guys have been, building and grinding away on. The way you get on live store roasts like this is with the different submittal options that we have in our Facebook group. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see a way to submit your store for a live store teardown as well in the YouTube description. We're going to be diving into some stores so that way you can see why most of the time traffic isn't the problem. So first off, let's break a couple things down. For those of you a little bit new here, I'm Mike Eyo. I created this traffic and conversions group. I've got a YouTube channel called Eyo Ecom, and I do e-commerce all day, every day. So most folks focus just on this number here, your sales. Why are my sales not good? What's happening? I just need more traffic. I just need to learn how to advertise. I just need to know how to market. I just need to know how to get in front of the right people, right? But the real issue, the real problem that you guys have in most cases is you're not converting enough of your clicks into customers. You can get as many sessions as you want, but if you're not doing a good job of taking those clicks and turning them into customers, then that traffic is useless. Whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's influencers, whether it's Google, whether it's SEO, whether it's you dancing on TikTok, it doesn't make a difference. You need to be able to convert your store traffic into sales. So as I break down some of your stores today, I'm going to be looking at your offers. I'm going to be looking at your messaging. We're going to be looking at your store structures, your systems that you have in place to help you get more people from sessions, aka traffic, to add it to cart, reaching checkout, and of course, completing purchase. So for those of you watching this live, or whether you're watching this replay, what is your current conversion rate, right? Go to your store, click on your analytics, go to say out of the last 90 days or so, right? Let me know in the comments what your store conversion rate is. The average Shopify conversion rate is just 1.3%. So you can see with this store, we're, almost 4 times that. But a lot of new stores are oftentimes below 1%. So let me know in the comments what your online store conversion rate is. We're going to be talking about how to get that number up. We're going to be talking about how to get your average order value up. So that way, when people do buy, they spend a lot more with you. And no matter what you sell, you're definitely going to take a lot away from this live stream. And it's going to help you be able to get that much more out of your traffic, no matter where that traffic is coming from. You guys ready to get started? Make sure you go ahead and like the stream. It does help more people see it. And let's go ahead and jump in with our first store, and that is Accessorize Your Life. Let's dive on in. First off, as soon as I arrive, I do like that we have an offer here. We're trying to capture contact information. Your follow-up is literally the most profitable thing that you're going to do with your online store. If you are not doing any sort of follow-up now, you're not emailing your customers, you're leaving money on the table. You're not texting your customers, you're leaving money on the table. So step one, get someone onto your list so that way you can follow up. We're doing that. Being said, 10% off, it's kind of a weak offer. That's easy to, okay, yeah, I can keep on humming along. Definitely want to be thinking about leveraging sexier offers, because the more sexy your offer is, the more people you'll get onto your email list. Key thing, these automations that you guys hear about, abandoned cart, abandoned checkout. None of your automations will work if someone is not currently on your email list. Way, bang. And then we have the dreaded double pop-up. So it looks like you have pop-ups firing either from 2 different programs or 2 different things going on. You definitely want to avoid doing something like this. Why? Because one, it's the exact same offer. The offer is not that strong in the first place. And you're starting off your engagement with a person, in most cases, with 2 no's. They just closed that first pop-up. Now they're going to close the second pop-up. So we're already not starting the visit off on a good footing. Boom, here we are. Now, get 5-second rule. What do you sell? Am I in the right place? What should I do next? You got 5 seconds to answer these questions for a user. That's done here in this primary banner. All this needs to take place above the fold. Above the fold. So I see we sell some necklaces, hair accessories, jewelry, bracelets, earrings. So that's good that we can see kind of what we sell here, and it does match the name, so that's good. You don't need a home button. Your logo should do that. Contact us, that's more, and FAQ. These are more of things for your footer. Navigation, that's not so bad there. Unleash your style. We embody the spirit of individuality, offering unique jewelry that makes a statement and redefines style boundaries. Okay, not a bad type of mission statement. And then we have some more messaging down here. Browse our collection of striking jewelry. So we passed the 5-second test. We're clear on kind of what we offer I can see some imagery showcasing some of our pieces, and we're giving someone a call to action. We definitely could make a stronger offer when someone arrives, and we could definitely just limit some of this text, some of this messaging that someone sees. Why? Because your big goal is to get someone to click this initial button as quickly as possible, get into the navigation as quickly as possible, or again, start scrolling and navigating so that way you can get them to a collection that much faster. Bang. One thing that jumps out to me right away is the lack of social proof. Without social proof, you're going to have a really difficult time getting new people to engage and purchase from your store. Why? Because humans are social animals, and online shopping is not a new novel thing anymore. There's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of folks competing for the business of your potential customers. And if they don't see social proof, they don't see reviews, they don't see feedback, they don't see any sort of signals that lets them know that someone else has successfully done business with you, that shoots their risk factor way, way up, puts them on edge, and you're going to have a hard time getting some of these folks across the finish line without solid social proof. That's definitely something that you're going to want to get onto your store as quickly as possible. Bang, product page wise, got some messaging here. I'll tell you now, your product page definitely needs some work. Your product pages are your virtual sales guys. Your goal is to pump these guys up so that way they can get as many people to add to cart and trust you enough to start the checkout process. Your product pages do this by overcoming objections potential customers may have. Some of the biggest objections that they typically have are shipping and return policy, neither of which I see on this page. So what you're going to run into is a large amount of your store traffic maybe coming and kicking the tires, but you're going to deal with a high bounce rate, especially with folks that don't know you, because again, lack of trust, because we have this pop-up situation going, not getting enough people onto your list for you to be able to follow up with them and make those additional offers, get them to know you, like you, trust you. And then when we come to our product page, we don't have objection focused messaging in place. We're not really addressing the concerns that a customer might have. Yes, there's some care instructions here, but by not talking about how your shipping policy works, by not talking about how your returns policy works, we're doing what? We're increasing the customer's risk factor even more. We're really at almost maximum levels of customer risk because they don't have clarity on a lot of those things. And that's just on the risk end. As far as visuals, look, we have some pretty good visuals here. Adding some video could definitely help. But the visual imagery is not bad. The messaging isn't bad, but you have it written in this big clump of text, and people don't read online anymore. They scan. So got to deal with that pop-up situation. Got to power up our product pages, some sexier messaging, spaced out, easier to read, address some of the most common objections head on, and that's going to help you get better results, at least from what you have here so far. There's a lot of other things that we could touch on to drive your conversion rate up, but I can tell you now, just addressing some of the things that we've talked about here will help show you a bump. So for those of you watching now, if you're looking at your product pages and you are not covering your shipping policy, what do they have to spend to get free shipping? Do you offer free shipping? What is your flat rate fee? How long does it take for your product to arrive? You don't want to surprise someone at finish line. If you're not addressing your returns policy or you don't have a returns policy, you are asking poor results. Your job is to smooth the runway for an online shopper as much as you can. One thing I do have for everyone watching, I got a cheat sheet specifically for this. It's got an irresistible product pages cheat sheet. This cheat sheet, it covers the must-haves to have on every product page. No matter what you sell, you want to make sure that you check these boxes. It will help drive up the add to cart rate of your product pages. So if you want access to my product pages cheat sheet, you'll find a link in the description. Next up, we're looking at flossy complexions. You sell skincare, some of you guys sell hair care, supplements. These are some of my favorite type of products to sell. Why? Because the repeat purchase potential for brands like these is through the roof. Your customers can be extremely valuable to you just by earning their trust enough and giving them something that's going to get them excited enough to get them to come back. So, ton of potential in this. Let's talk about what you got going on here. So, boom, we've got an offer to sign up right away. Solid. As we said with the last store, 20% off is sexier than 10%. So that's a little bit of a better offer. So this is not a bad pop-up. Yes, there's some things that you can do as far as how you're presenting the offer to make it a little bit more engaging, but this is a decent starting point. And of course, with skincare, product is important. So your follow-up game should net upwards of 40, nearly 50% of your revenue can and should come from your follow-up messaging. One of my students easily does more than 50% of her sales just from her follow-up messaging. Why? Because you can use your follow-up messaging to teach people about what's going on in their hair, what's going on in their skin, help them understand the underlying problems that they might be having. They might know about the problem, but they don't know why it's happening. And they don't know what the real solutions for that problem are. So with your follow-up messaging, that's going to allow you to educate and drop knowledge bombs on your customers and help you get more people across the finish line without even throwing a bunch of promotions and sales messaging at them. Why? Because if you talk about, hey, here's a problem that you're facing here, there's a reason why it's a problem, these are the implications of that problem, hey, this thing can make it go away, then anybody that has that problem or wants that benefit is going to hop on a product like that, regardless of if it's on sale or not. It's hard to get someone to trust you enough to purchase that first time, but when you do earn their trust, you can turn customers into insanely loyal, high-paying customers. So what that looks like in your overall analytics, here, returning customer rate is some of the most profitable sales you're going to make. Because once you get someone in the door that first time, pretty much anything that happens after that is playing with house money. When you get someone to come back to your store, they're going to convert at a higher rate. Think about it. Someone that's brand new arriving on your store for the first time, there's a lot that you have to do to get them across the finish line. Either super impulsive or is there enough interest? Is there enough desire? Is there enough trust to get them to take action? That's on the first visit. But when you get someone to come back a second time, a third time, it's not like they're being exposed to you for the first time. They already know about you. They've already heard about you. You're in there. You've built a presence with them. So when you drive them back to your store, the likelihood of them converting is 5 times higher. Research shows that nurtured customers convert at a rate 5 times that of folks that are not nurtured. Follow up alone can increase your conversion rate and increase your sales. That being said, when it comes to the store itself, here's where we are definitely have some opportunity. So first thing that jumps out to me that is definitely hurting you is websites have what we call a UX score, a user experience score. How easy is it to use your store? How easy is it to read the messaging on your store? Like, is it user friendly? And one of the things that is hurting you now is you have this kind of a green colored background. The text is not easy to read. We have yellow text on a green background. How easy is that to read, you guys? Right? There's a reason that probably 99% of every book ever written is black text on a white background because that's maximum legibility. When you look at the largest e-commerce brands, they all have that white background, black text, and use their banners to create color and contrast. High quality banner images will create color and contrast. So definitely clean up our color scheme to be more clean and easier to read, easier to interpret, and that will help us avoid the UX score penalty. UX user experience score penalties hurt your SEO because Google doesn't like to send traffic to sites that don't have good user experience. It's going to impact the cost you pay if you advertise because again, same user experience. Every advertising platform sends spiders to crawl your site and check out your user experience. It's going to limit your social media reach because again, they're always looking at the destination that traffic is going to. So color schemes like this can definitely hurt your conversion rate. Even if we think it looks good, I can't see a navigation. I've tapped that, then I can start to see a little bit of what's on a navigation. So you have it buried in a form here. It's not necessarily the way to go. It's not clear. We're making the one of the big mistakes that I see a lot of sellers make is trying to be really cute and really branded, early on. I'm trying to really like get my character into my messaging. Get it. But you need to be clear. Clarity beats cuteness, guys. Clarity beats cuteness. So instead of own your glow, embrace every flaw, we recover, we celebrate them, yada yada, glow now, glow talk. What are you asking me to do? What is going to happen if I click either one of these buttons? I don't really know. And this messaging isn't encouraging me to do that. Does that make sense? Like your number one goal is to get someone to click and take action, but they don't understand why they would click that. Glow now doesn't tell them anything. Glow talk doesn't necessarily tell them anything. So what we have now is when someone arrives on our store, within the first 5 seconds or so, we can't really tell what you sell. We can't really tell what we should do first. and I can't really tell if I'm in the right place because I can't see any sort of products. I really can't tell what your store is about without scrolling or without doing anything else. And that is definitely something that is going to hinder our overall conversion rate. Give them one thing to do, not two, not options. What should I do next? So, boom, we have this section here. We want to give them one button, get them shopping. We've got some usable messaging down here. Nourishing formulas made to empower melanin-rich skin and help you glow deeper, slay harder. I get cute. So, here you go. Nourishing formulas made to empower melanin-rich skin and help you glow deeper. Not perfect, but at least this gives us a little bit of clarity. So now I can grab a message like this that talks about what you saw. Nourishing formulas made to what? Empower melanin-rich skin. Okay, now I have some clarity on what you're selling, and I have a little bit of a modifier as far as like what makes a difference. Well, it's made for melanin-rich skin. So, okay, if I'm here with, I don't know, a little bit of melanin in my skin, and you say you have formulas made to empower my skin, okay, now we're speaking the same language. What should I do next? Shop your best sellers, maybe. Right. Shop your latest collection, shop your latest sale. You tell them to do one thing. If I know what you have here, now you tell me the number one thing that I should do first, and that is going to help you get a larger percentage of people taking that action away. It's going to get them shopping. It's going to help boost your conversion rate. Imagery wise, not bad. Product pages. This is more scannable than the last store that we looked at, but we're still making some of the mistakes that the last brand did, which is again, not addressing the biggest concerns online shoppers have. How does shipping work? What if I don't like it? If you don't answer those questions, how confident am I adding to cart? So check this out. The number one thing that Shopify tells us needs to happen if you want to get someone to complete checkout, aka buy, and they start off as a store session. Your store sessions are your store traffic. So I got a session. I want them to buy. What's the very first thing that needs to happen? I got to get someone to add to cart. That's your number one objective, is to get your store sessions to the point where they can add something to cart. So if the product page is the number one place where you can make that happen, look how easy it is to scroll right past this add to cart button. Everything is green. It's hard to read. I could easily go past that call to action button. So one thing that we need to do right away is, after we fix our background color so it's easier to read and see what's happening on the store, we need to add some color to this call to action button. Notice how the shop pay button looks, how it pops out at you. It screams, click me. The color looks weird against that color background, but you can see how it has a contrasting color compared to this that blends right on in. That's something that you want to avoid. You need your call to action button to really pop out. So if, let's say we got green as our branded color, again, we wouldn't use a green background, but maybe we have some green elements because that's on brand. What color creates a lot of contrast to green? A color like an orange. And just look at that. Just by doing that, adding a little bit of color, now I can land on a product page and my eyes will immediately perceive that, hey, there's something here, something different, something pop out, some that I can and should do. Little things like this can increase your add to cart rate, because it's obvious what someone should do next. To make it obvious what someone should do next, if you want to get them shopping and if you want to get them moving through. So again, definitely need to clean up this background. The color scheme is definitely hurting you quite a bit. And then definitely dial in, this above the fold as soon as someone arrives, this user experience that they have. Give them some message clarity. Show people what you have without having them dig through a menu to find it, and then tell them what they should do first. And that's going to help you get more people shopping and more people finding out, what, flossy complexions is all about, and make you a little bit more money. Yeah. Dang. So make sure, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching the hashtag replay, we're dropping a like on the stream. So that way it'll help more folks see it. Bang, bang. And let's move on to our next store. Next up, we have allibgoods.com. Let's have a look, see, and see what we got going on here. Bang, arrived. Solid lead gen pop-up. Good that we have in place, 20% off. That's just high enough to get me to pay attention to it. So that's a decent number there. But you're asking first name, last name, and email. So the thing about pop-ups, offers, lead magnets, and things of that nature, the more you ask for, the lower your conversion rate is. So good rule of thumb when it comes to, pop-ups, offers, any type of a lead gen form, is to only get the information that you need. Only get the information that you need. And in the sense of e-commerce, especially if someone's not a customer yet, email, phone number, are typically some of the things that you're going to want to go for because that's how you can at least communicate with someone enough to turn them into a customer. What do you need my last name for? Is my information really safe? Like that, these are questions that people have. If I see and I ask myself, why do you need that? That's something that can hurt your conversion rate. So if you don't need a last name, don't get that. The less you ask for, the higher the conversion rate. The more you ask for, the better your offer better be. Relatable goods for everyday life. So, 5 second rule. Place, what should I do next? So, what do you sell? Looking at navigation here, nothing up here really tells me what you sell. I would have to click this drop down menu. So, that's an extra step you're asking me to take just to find out what you sell. Not the best way to do that. Relatable goods for everyday life. I mean, it's like home decor, right? It's not really clear what you're selling with, that's very, very broad. Wear what you feel like. It's very, very broad. When in doubt, some of the best messaging that you can use in these main header sections here, where we spend so much time because there's a big part of just getting people to start shopping on your store and giving you a chance. Say what it is and who it's for. Be very clear on what it is. If these are, custom accessories, if this is personalized apparel, if this is, a custom merch for fans of X, the more clear that you are here, the easier it'll be to get people to shop. So instead of trying to be, branded or cute here, you're better off just saying exactly what you carry here and the type of people that will appreciate it the most. Now, imagery wise, that's not bad. Here we've got the kind of this background video of someone moving. Stuff like this can actually slow your store down because you have video. When someone arrives on a page, it has to load this video, then it loads everything on top of it. So this can actually slow down your store speed, which again can hurt our conversion rate. Do you want to remove links to social media anywhere outside of your footer at the bottom of your store? Where the last place you want to have links to your social media is right here at the top of your store in the upper left. Why? Because again, people read from left to right. So the first thing someone sees is linked to our social media. As soon as I arrive, like, okay, yeah, I have Instagram. Boom. Now I'm over here. I can see kind of what's going on over here. Okay, I see some products here. Cool, but I also see some notifications over here. What do we got going on over here? Got a message. Oh, someone just started following me. And boom, now I'm not shopping. Don't send people outside of your store the moment they walk in, which is essentially what we just did. I said, no. Take a look at your stores. Make sure we're not walking people out the door as soon as they walk in. A note on just how to use imagery and banners. The purpose of banners on your store is to get clicked. Our online stores are not like virtual magazines. I see, okay, the shirt, and then I don't know that I can click it. If I hover a mouse over it, I can't click here. I can't click on the jeans, can't click on, this complete the look. I'm assuming these are accessories. And I see like this tiny black button here that changes when I hover over it. But look how easy it would be to just scroll past this entire section. So that's not a good use of our store real estate. Instead, what you should do is, if this is where you're selling jeans, you can have a banner specifically dedicated to jeans. Give me some messaging about why these jeans are great. Shop jeans. There's that for a collection. Be more clear. You can have some dedicated messaging, clear button, and that's going to increase the click-through rate there. Don't try to have like multiple banners in one image and you're trying to do multiple things in one place. Even though we may think it looks good, is it doing the job of sending people deeper into the sales process? It's not necessarily doing that. And if it's not doing that, it's costing you money. Remember, the whole goal is to get people through from left to right in as few steps as possible. What do they need to feel comfortable adding something to the cart? What do they need to do so that way they can reach checkout? What needs to happen to get them to complete checkout? Any extra steps, stages, or things in between is taking money out of your pocket. Product pages are another area of major opportunity. I mean, those of you guys watching the video of this, look at all this text. How likely are you to read that? Let me know in the chat. How many of you guys would go in there and read that? The majority of people won't, because people scan. That's why it's so important to have your messaging scannable, bullets, bold messaging, larger font, using tabs to make it easier to get through your product page. The job of your product page is to sell. Then you're not hitting the emotional notes that you need to. Let's see how this looks on mobile, which is where 90% of your traffic is. Look at that on mobile, you guys. So your goal is to make it easy for someone to be able to scan through this and still get excited about your product, have their questions answered about your product, and have clear, what should I do next for the product? And you don't want them to share on a product page. What we want them to do is we want them to buy. So you can remove links to share or remove any sort of share messaging, put the entire, not even buy it now, because most people need to add it to cart so they continue adding things to their cart. So number one thing you want to do on this page, boom, isolate this button, make it clear, add to cart, make it easier to sift through this information. We need to talk about our shipping policy. We need to make it clear. I can't see it in here. You know, these product pages are definitely hurting your conversion rate. And then the other thing that you can do just to help you get your average order value up, especially as an apparel brand, like your job is to get as much stuff in your customer's bag as possible. You want walking around with a bag full of stuff. So, what products or accessories would complement a sweatshirt like this? What things would go well with this? Because you do have, accessories, sets, you have things that would complement this well. And the more you can get a customer to buy, the lower the likelihood of them making a return is going to be. The higher the likelihood of them coming back and buying from you again is going to be, because it helps you expose that customer to different product lines. Like, oh, I got some apparel that I like from you. Oh, I got an accessory that I like from you. Oh, I have a couple things that I like from you. Chances are there's more that you carry on your store that I would like as well. So one app that is on Shopify, anyone watching this can grab it right now, that is really good for that, is an app called Frequently Bought Together. You guys can download it from the Shopify store, add it to your store, and it basically looks just like the Frequently Bought Together feature on Amazon, where a lot of new stores struggle is getting past the friends and family barrier. I know a lot of you guys can relate to that. Friends, family, they'll shop from you. You can get them to buy, but outside of that, when that runs dry, it gets tough, right? The reason that's happening is because when you try to get in front of people that don't already know you, like you, and trust you, we are not sending them the trust signals that they need to feel confident shopping with you. From the social proof perspective, from a store design perspective, from the does it feel legit perspective. That's why I talk so much about how you set your store up, the type of imagery you use, the type of messaging you use. All of that stuff impacts your overall conversion rate, which impacts how much money you make. Now, for those of you boutique owners, right? So apparel, you sell accessories. I have a ton of students that have done exceptionally well in that market. There is a huge opportunity for brands like yours because people don't shop at the mall anymore, or not like they used to at least. Even boutiques on main streets are seeing substantially less foot traffic, right? More and more people are shopping online, which means you have an opportunity to really cut through the noise and get ahead. I got a resource for you. It's called the Startup 20K Boutique Playbook, right? So if you got a boutique, I have a playbook that really outlines things that you can do from messaging perspective to help cut through the noise, help people understand what makes you different. Positioning, design, marketing, cover all that. Type boutique in the chat and we'll get you that 20K Boutique Playbook. Now we're looking at royalty mindset fashions.com. Most people are not going to buy on that first visit, no matter how good your products are, how well designed your store is, how dialed in your messaging is. Most people aren't going to buy on the first encounter. So if you're not following up, you are leaving money on the table. That being said, what are you asking for here? You're asking me to give you your name and email, but what do I get out of it? Anytime we're making an offer, we always have to put the person that I'm making the offer to at the forefront. What's in it for you? I know what I want. I know what I want. But what do you want? Because if I'm not giving you that, why would you give me contact information? That's why offers for like updates, things for like, yeah, get free shipping, or like super, super weak offers, 5% off, super weak off, easy to ignore. Because it's like what you're asking me for isn't worth you spamming me, which is what everybody thinks when you give up an email or a phone number. Let me know in the chat that when you put an email into a pop-up like this or a form like this, we all know what's gonna happen, right? But the reason you do it is because you want the thing enough, or you're interested in hearing from the brand enough. Or like, fine, we both know what's gonna happen, and I'm here for it. That's how that works. It's kind of like Netflix and chill, right? You know what Netflix and chill is all about. It's just a question of if you're going to do it or not. If they want the thing bad enough, they'll give you their firstborn. But if they don't want it, there's definitely not going to take action on it. And again, without getting contact information from your leads, none of your abandoned cart automations are going to work. None of these automated flows that people get excited about, none of those things are going to kick in, because you got to have an email. You got to have contact information. If you don't have that, none of that works. And the best way to get that with a sexy offer. Saying welcome to your store. Use sections like this to reiterate some of the most important information you need to have on your store. What's that? How your shipping works, right? The a big question every single person has is how shipping works. Is it free shipping? How much you have to spend to get free shipping? Bury that into someone's mind, and a great place to do that is right up here in that main header area. So welcome to store doesn't do anything for you, doesn't move the buying conversation, but talking about how shipping works does move the buying conversation forward, right? So can I see what you sell? Tees, hoodies, hats, accessories. Okay, cool. All right, solid stuff. Don't need a home button. I got a logo. Shop all. Instead of saying shop all, why don't we say something like bestsellers? Bestsellers is a really powerful thing to use in your navigation, especially for new visitors, newcomers, new arrivals. Why? Think about when you go to a restaurant for the first time. What's popular? Human beings are social creatures by nature. So if you can kind of give them at least an idea what other people are already doing, then you're going to take a certain percentage of people that are going to be like, okay, well, let me see what the hype is about. That's why bestseller collections can work really well for any sort, almost anything that you sell. A bestsellers collection is a really strong collection to create. It allows you to put your best products in one place. It allows you to take that collection and showcase it. You can advertise that specific collection, and you know that the product's there. We can get our social proof there. We can really focus on those key products first, instead of trying to fix everything on our store and create this just massive to list. And oh my God, it's so difficult just to keep track of all that stuff. We say bestsellers. Clothe yourself with kingdom confidence. Discover faith-driven fashion believers who know their worth in Christ. Well, to mine. Okay, I do like that. And this statement here, that's actually a pretty good tagline. But what we're doing here is this is almost like it has like a flyer feel to it. Like it's really big, like you've got your logo on it, like they're not already on your store. And then the most important thing on this image is what? The actual call to action, because you want to get them to do something. But it's the most easy to ignore thing. Compare this big Philippines looking button to that. I can't click any of this. I can only click this thing down here, and I can't even see the button until I scroll down. So what we need to do with a big banner like this is we need to definitely condense it. You can literally take this section that you have here. We can shrink some of this text down because again, it's too big. We have too much on here. We can shrink this text down, get rid of this messaging over here, and give them a button there, shop best sellers. And now I take all these eyeballs, and I can focus them the way they need to go, right? And then we've got some designs that, can do well. So I've worked with a ton of faith-based brands. This stuff moves because you have such a loyal and rabid audience, people that are emotional in their beliefs and love the ability to share their gospel without really sacrificing their style and looking good while doing it. Like this stuff, there's a massive market and it's very clear, very easy to target on paid channels. So it's a good lane to be in, but it's very competitive and you got to be able to cut through the noise. And people arrive, if we don't really pass the sniff test, then that's going to hurt us. Just stylistically, how we're laying our store out, how we're presenting information, all these are things that are going to impact how well our overall store converts and how confident people are in doing business with us. Again, we've got it kind of got like the colored background thing again going. Like for everyone watching this, you guys, like if there's one big thing, hopefully there's a good amount of takeaways on here, but big thing I want you guys to take away from this is get rid of these like off-brand color schemes. If you have like a off-white color background, a pink background, a green background, a yellow background, anything other than a white background, change the white background with black text so we can be like 90% of books, the vast majority of the most heavily trafficked e-commerce stores online, and we can eliminate having a poor UX score as a reason for our store not doing as well as it could. This is a process of elimination. You want to find out what's stopping people from making it to the finish line and things that can hurt their user experience, like it being hard to read, hard to see, hard to navigate, having like off-brand color schemes. That's one of the easiest things to fix that handicaps you a lot more than you might think. So again, go with the white background, let your banners and your product imagery pop out against it. And then once you have a lot more traction and you're established and you can send an email out and get a couple thousand people to come to your store at once, then you have a little bit more flexibility because you already have know, and trust. It's like selling to friends and family. You don't have to be perfect, when you're selling to friends and family. Product page wise, it's scannable, but shipping and returns, we're not covering shipping and returns. This is an easy way to tank your product page conversion rate because even if they are confident enough to add to cart, you want to get them to reach checkout. But you need confidence. You don't want to be surprised at checkout with surprise shipping fees. Oh, I'll think about it. You don't see social proof. You don't know if you can return it. It's just your risk level is so high. I'm going to think about that, ladies and gentlemen, is cart abandonment. If you're looking at your cart abandonment rate and it's really, really high, chances are you have a breakdown in your social proof and trust. Chances are you're not following up with people, which is it's a huge thing. We're not addressing the most common objections that people have ahead of time, and that can cost you money. So product page wise, definitely some opportunity. I would also make recommendations on additional products. That's going to help you increase your overall average order value. Looks like a lot of this stuff is print on demand. A keynote for everybody selling print on demand items. Print on demand is a low margin game. If you're especially in tees, hoodies, hats, like these are all low margin, high competition items. That's if you're doing print on demand, yes, print on demand is a great way to get started, test designs, get some initial sales, get some initial traction, feel good, validate your ideas and know that you're on the track. But when you start running ads, you start really generating eyeballs, you're going to see that because you're doing print on demand, your margins and what you're actually taking home from all that aren't going to be as high as you would like. So the way that you counter that is with follow up, email, text, follow up. Because when you get someone to come back and make a purchase that second time, that third time from you, now we're getting to keep a lot more profit. So the name of the game is you get people in the door the first time. If I got to advertise, pay to get you into play, pay an influence, whatever it takes to get you across the finish line the first time, charge that to the game. Once we're in the door, then we want to be able to sell them more stuff, which is why our follow-up game comes into play. We want to be able to email more designs, text more designs. What are the chances that someone that is into faith-based apparel, what are the chances that they'll be interested in buying more faith-based apparel? Now I can sell you more stuff. You already know me. You already trust me. We've already crossed that bridge. And that's why I use the Netflix and chill analogy again. That's not necessarily date number one, especially if it's something that you really like. You might take them out, right? We might go out to dinner, might go out to a movie, might go out to coffee, might go out and hang out in a low intensity, low risk. We can chill, connect, vibe, right? And you start there. That's acquisition. You're building the know, like, and trust factor. Once that confidence is built up enough, then yeah, you show up to each other's spots in, fuzzy slippers looking crazy because you already trust them enough for them to see that side of you. That is the power of building a relationship with your people online. Never forget that you are selling to real people, and real people are emotional, they're social, and they have to have a feeling about making a purchase. That's why it's easy to go and shop on Amazon. You already know. Oh, I'm not worried about it. I can just get the thing that I want. With your stores, it's not the same way if you don't have that same know, like, and trust built in. These are things that have a big impact on your conversion rate. Owning your own store versus an Amazon is incredibly powerful because it gives you the ability to get that all important repeat purchases. So, again, really, really remember that your follow up is incredibly important to your overall success. Whether you're driving traffic from free sources or whether you're driving sources from paid, the trust factor has a major impact on your overall conversion rate and on your overall sales. So make sure that we're leaning into that. In your case, you have some designs that can definitely work here, but the packaging we need to level up there. There's some of the things that we talked about so far during this teardown that will definitely boost it. But this year, making a sexier offer, getting more people into your follow-up list, and just showing them more designs. Maybe they didn't like this design, but you just have a new design drop. Those extra touch points will make all the difference. I've worked with a ton of brands like yours, and the amount of money that you can make from that follow-up, talking to folks like these, is substantial. So, yeah, hopefully that was valuable for you guys. Wanted to help you really understand the things that impact a customer's purchase decisions when you're a new brand, how your store is structured, how easy it is to find what they're looking for, how clear it is to go from point A to point B, how to structure your product pages so that way they can sell the dream overcome objections, and get people to actually add to cart so that way you can get them closer to purchase. These are things that will impact how effective your advertising is, how effective your social media posts are, and how effective, an influencer sending eyeballs your way is going to be. And if you want more personalized feedback, you don't have a chance to have your store covered today, but you'd like some expert eyeballs. You want some insight onto things that might be blocking your store conversion, or even insight onto things that can help you scale your ads and put your foot on the gas. Type strategy in the chat, and then we'll get you set up with a strategy session. We'll do a store teardown, get some insight on the things that might be holding you back, share a couple ideas to help you accelerate your sales. So type strategy in chat, and we'll get you set up with an expert one-on-one review, and we'll take it from there. Thank you for watching. Y'all have a blessed evening.